tell you a little bit about Narrowboat anyway. Purchased last year, September. Passed the survey. Most important thing you'll ever need to do when you're purchasing Narrowboat is the steel. So we did a survey. Base plates, all good. Hull, all blacked. Just before we had her, she was out the water when we had a look at her. So the base plate was all cleaned, shot black, grip blasted. The hull was all blacked, shot blasted and grip blasted back to the bare paint, and then 3 cold epoxy blacky resin on the hull all the way around. New anodes, so I was happy with all that. It's when you purchase a boat after and you discover issues like leaky radiators, like a leaky water pump. So we had a new water pump fitted, then we had all the radiators taken out. Well, I did it myself, and had some new radiators fitted, some nice grey ones. Then the battery bank depleted, so the acid batteries were past their sell-by date. So doing all my own work on that, found out it's best to have lithium, but it's not that straightforward fitting just lithium. There's loads of things you have to do. So what I'm going to do is go through all the items and equipment that I've got with you and tell you exactly what I did, how I did it, and how I've achieved and how it's bettered the boat. We've got 4 solar panels, 200 watt each. They're round about the 70 to 80 pound to buy, and you need the wiring kit to link them in parallel. So I've linked 4, which gives us 800 watts of power. So they normal brackets, tilt and swerve brackets, so you can lift these panels up, tilt them to the left, tilt them to the right, depending on where the sun is. I just want to show you the setup underneath. I just want to show you this inverter that I've had fitted. It's a Renogy inverter charger, 3000 watt Pro. There was a couple to go for. Victron, there was a Eco-worthy. I've chose this one, I believe it to be the best one. £856 on eBay, which sounds a lot of money, but you can't skimp on your inverters, and we've got induction hobs and fridges and stuff like that we need the power for, so we went for this one. We powered it up, so we've got the battery bank coming in, positive and negative off your battery bank. You got input out, this goes to your, which goes onto all your sockets in your boat, and then you've got power input for your charger when you're on shore power underneath. And then that gives you, at the moment it's just on batteries, so it's telling me the inverter's on. It's telling me I've got 50 amps, 13.2 on the battery, 230 volts if required off the inverter. Uh, 600 amp Eco-worthy with built-in BMS, which tells you the battery. You can press there on off, and you can see there it tells you it's fully charged. Now with the solar panels you need an MPPT controller. Now if you've got 800 watts of panels on the roof, you need 150 by 70 amps of power to control those watts coming in. So an MPP 150/70 will easily cover 800 watts of power. So this controls the power coming out of the panels into this unit, and those 2 wires there take them directly to the battery. Now we've got bulk, which means early in the morning the batteries are low, this MPPT will bulk the power, bring it all in and feed it to the batteries. Absorption, when they just get up to almost full, they'll slow the power down, trickle charge them and just get them comfortably up to full power. Float, if the batteries are fully charged and the solar panels are no longer needed, that will go to float and control the power. Stop it, the solar panels will stop and the power will no longer go into the batteries. So it's all controlled by this MPPT, which is really good. Now my starter battery, which is an acid battery, is controlled by a DC charger, which this one is a 12 50 amp. So this will bring power from the alternator into my acid battery. The acid battery will connect back to this, and from the red on the right hand side will go to the lithium. So when my acid battery is full, this will transfer the charge from there to my lithiums if needed. If not, this also will go into bulk, or it will go into absorption, or it will go into float to say that the batteries are fully charged. So these two units control how much charge is going into my batteries. Perfect units.
Yep, so that's our battery bank setup. Lithium batteries is a thing, that's what you've got to have. If you're staying out on your boat for more than a couple of weeks, you need that battery backup. You need to be able to cook, you need heating, you need lighting, you need TV. It all takes up the power. So yeah, eco-worthy lithium batteries. 429 quid each. Expensive, I know. But you know, 860 quid and you've got over 600 amps of power, and they are good batteries. And you can Bluetooth them to your phone, and it tells you, like I said, how much power you've got. 800 watt solar panels are trickling them all day long in this weather. So they never really go below 75%. And you can deplete them to 10%. And when I go on my app, on Bluetooth app, on the eco-worthy batteries, it tells me I've got like 48 hours. So I could have 2 days, if they never had a charge, of constant power use, which I'm not going to have. If it's standard stuff, you can go like 3 or 4 days. So the acid batteries used to deplete in about an hour, hour and a half if I was doing any cooking, so they wasn't really up to scratch. So I'm happy with that. It's really working well at the moment. We've managed to fit a washing machine, so you can get all your washing done while you're out and about. It's just comfort, you know. It's home from home, everything that you need from home you want on your boat, because we're used to those comforts, aren't we? So you know, when you live in rough and it's cold, and you know, and you get up in the morning, you've got no hot water and things like that, it just takes the edge off it a little bit. So I do like my comforts, and I should imagine most people out there do as well. So yeah, we like to have our comforts, don't we? And when the weather's like this, it's a bonus. But we've been up to Llangollen, like I said. We're not working our way back now. Working my way up towards Whittington, so we stay there overnight. But we're just waiting for this bridge to get sorted in Whitchurch, so we can get out on the Four Counties Ring. And I want to go to Chester and Nantwich and Middlewich. I really had a chance to do a lot of it at the moment. But it gives me a chance to keep the boat. Every time you take the boat out, you'll come up against a problem and you think, I'll have to get that sorted for the next time. And I think I've come to the end of my list of jobs to do now. So I just do a regular oil and filter change on my engine. Fuel filter, not so often as the engine oil and the filter. And just keep on top of things like that. Your water tank, get some tablets. Make sure you put some of those cleansing tablets in there, water fresh, because you get sediment on the bottom of the tank, especially if it's been standing over winter. It keeps the tank nice and fresh and clean. Maintenance things, you know, like that. Your log burner, clean it out, empty your ashtray, keep your stern greaser topped up with grease. It's what I call boat duties, and we all have to make sure we do our boat duties before we head off, because we want to be happy cruising. We don't want to keep breaking down every 5 minutes. I had a problem with one of my hoses. The engine started bleeping, and the engine overheated because it's a Califrere tank with 2 coils inside, and the hot water from the engine heats the water up through a coil, and the pipe burst. And lucky enough, I was by ABC Marina in Ellesmere, and when I took the pipe off, it was all perished, it was all split, so it was old pipe basically. So I thought, well, if that's like that, the other pipes are going to be the same or not far behind. So I changed every pipe on that engine. I don't want that problem again. Antifreeze, when it's hot and it's overheated, it smells. It's an horrible smell. You don't down your boat. So I sorted that. That's great. So, you know, fingers crossed, I'm not having many problems at the moment. The engine's running nice and crisp. Everything's working. So I'm happy at the moment, fingers crossed. But you never can tell on a boat, can you? Things always happen.
Thanks for watching my little video on what we've done to the boat. I hope it helps a little bit. I'm not a professional, but I always like to know about things and how things work and do my own work, and I like to do a lot of stuff myself. So these battery banks in here have been checked over by the electrician at the marina that we're there. My BSS is due, like I said, April next year, so I'll make sure everything's good. There's a couple of isolators I've got to put on the negative side of the battery. There's a few bits and pieces to do, but I've brought it out for a good test and it's worked and I haven't had a problem, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, thanks for watching my video, appreciate it, and speak to you soon. Thank you.